We continue now at the top of Daf Nun Hey Amar Aleph and Meseches Avodah Zara. This is Avodah Zarah Daf 55a. And the previous summit, the Gemara said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't destroy all Avodah Zara because some Avodah Zara is critical to the world surviving. And the Gemara now brings a pasuk in Sefania that says this same idea. Asef kol me'al pneihu adama nu'um Hashem. Hashem says, should I destroy everything from the earth? Asef adamu behema asef ofa ashamayim udgei hayam v'machshelos eser eshoim. Should I destroy people and animals and birds and fish and the stumbling blocks of the wicked? V'chi mipnei shareshoim nichsholen behen. Just because the wicked stumble over them, yavdei min ha'olam, should they be destroyed from the world? V'halo li'adam heinovdin. They even worship people. V'chrati esa adam me'al pneihu adama. Should I destroy people from the face of the earth? And so therefore you see in these psukim in Sefania the same idea. And the Brisa continues, Shal Agrippas Sar Tzava, as Rabbi Gamliel. Agrippas, who was the general, he asked Rabbi Gamliel the following. Rashi explains, Agrippas Sar Tzava, Oved Kochavim Hoya. He was an idolater, Memunal Rashi Gaisos. He was a general over the soldiers. Ovimei Agrippas HaMelech Hoya. He lived during the times of Agrippas the king. So he asked us, Rabbi Gamliel, again he asked Rabbi Gamliel, Ksiv b'Toraschem, it says in your Torah, Ki Hashem Elokecha eish ochlahu kel kano. Again it says that he's a God who is vengeful. Klum miskane elachacham b'chacham, v'gibor b'gibor, v'yasher b'yasher. When a person is jealous, when a person is vengeful, isn't it usually a wise person with another wise person, a mighty person with another mighty person, a wealthy person with another wealthy person? And so how could it be that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has vengeance because of Avodah Zara? That should be insignificant compared to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amar lo, he said to him, Emshalach mashal mahadavar doma. I'll tell you a mashal what it's compared to. Li'adam shenasa isha al ishto. It's compared to a person who marries another woman. Let's say he has a wife, he takes a second wife. Chashuva mimena. If he takes somebody who's more important, ein miskaneba, so then she's not jealous. But pechusa mimena. But if he takes somebody who's of lesser status, so then miskaneba, so then she actually does become angry over that. Rashi explains, ein miskaneba ishto harishona eina makpedes kol kach lisno es bala. She's not going to hate her husband so much if he takes a woman who's more chashiv. Avol in pechusa mimena miskanu makpedes olav lisanoso. But if he takes a woman of lower status, so now already that first wife is going to be angry about it. And the Brisa continues, Amar le Zunin le Rabbi Akiva. Zunin said to Rabbi Akiva, and Rashi explains, Zunin Yisrael, Zunin was a Jewish person, and he said to Rabbi Akiva as follows, Libi v'libcha yada, my heart and your heart, we both know, da avodas kochavim les b'mashasha, that Avodah Zara has no substance to it. V'haka chazinan gavri do'azli ki mitberi, v'yasu ki mitzmedi. But don't we see people that they have broken limbs, and then they come back and they're whole again, and it seems like the Avodah Zara is what healed them. My time, and what's the reason for that? Amar lo, he said to him, Emshalach mashal mahadavar doma. I'll tell you a mashal what it's compared to. Li'adam neman shahaya b'ir. You have a trustworthy person in the city. V'chol b'nei iro hayu mafkidin etzlo. And everybody is depositing by him. Shalo beidim, without witnesses. They trust the person. Uva adam echad v'hifkid lo beidim. And then one person comes along and deposits by him with witnesses. Pam echad shachach v'hifkid etzlo shalo beidim. And one time he forgets and deposits without witnesses. So Amar lo ishto. So his wife says to him, meaning the wife of this trustworthy person says, Bo v'nechfarnu, now we have our chance. Come and we'll deny that we ever got this, and we'll get away with it. Amar lo, he says to her, because this fool did something not right. Anu nova na'abed es amunasenu. Should we really lose our trustworthiness? So av kach, so too over here. When it comes to Yisurin, when it comes to afflictions, at the time that afflictions come on a person, it's like they take an oath. We administer an oath to them that they're only going to leave on a particular day. They're only going to leave on a particular day. At a particular hour. Through a particular doctor. Through a certain medicine. And Kevan Shigi Manan Lotis, when the time comes for them to leave, for the Yisurin to leave, Holach Zeh, Lebeis Avodas Kochav, and this person goes to his house of idol worship. Amru Yisurin Dinu Shalo Neitzei. So first the Yisurin say, really we shouldn't leave because he's going to attribute it to the Avodah Zara. But V'chozrin V'yomrim, but then they go back and they say, V'chim Ipnei Shashot Zeh Osa Shalo Kahogan, just because this fool is doing what's not right. Anu Na'abed Shvuaseinu, should we leave aside the oath that we took? V'hainu dam Rabbi Yochanan, and that's what Rabbi Yochanan says. Ma'idach what does it mean when it's written in the pasuk v'chaloyim roim v'ne'emonim? It talks about these bad illnesses and they're ne'emonim, they're trusted. It means means roim b'shlichusan. It means that their agency, their message is bad, what they're doing is bad. V'ne'emonim b'shvuasan, but they keep their oath, they keep that promise. And Rashi explains, Diazli ki metabri, the people go in broken. It means pischim aholchim la'avodas kochavim shenisparkwe v'rei. And again, the people, they can't walk well, they have broken limbs, and they go to their house of Avoda Zara, machmas cholyan, because they're ill. V'chozrin beivar mitzumadim, and they come back and their limbs are whole, they're healed. And Rashi continues, roim b'shlichusan, these plagues, these illnesses are bad in their mission, shemiyasrim es haguf, that they afflict the body. And again, they're also ne'emonim, they also keep their promise. And the Gemara continues, Amar le Rava bar Rav Yitzchak le Rav Yehuda. Rava bar Rav Yitzchak said to Rav Yehuda, Ho'iko beis avodas kochavim bi'asra, and there's a house of Avodah Zara in our locale, T'chi mitzdarech ol mula mitra, that when the world needs rain, mischazilu bechelma, the idol appears to them in a dream, v'yamarlu, and it says to them, Shachtu li gavra, slaughter for me a certain person, v'aisi mitra, and then I'm going to bring rain. And Shachtu lo gavran, when they do this, they slaughter a person as an offering to the Avodah Zara, v'asi mitra, the rain actually comes. How could that be? Amarle said to him, Hashta Yava Shechivna Lo Amri Lechu HaMilsa. Now, if I would be dead right now, I wouldn't be able to tell you the answer to this, but now I can tell you the following. Tiyama Rav, that Rav says, Mai Dichsiv, what does it mean when it's written in the Pasuk? Asher Cholak Hashem Elokecho Som L'chol Ha'amim. It's talking about the fact that they're apportioned to all of the nations. Melame, this teaches us Shehechlikon Bidvorim, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu allows the nations to be misled by these matters of Avodah Zara, Kedei L'tordan Min Ha'olam, in order to drive them out of the world. And the Gemara continues, V'hainu damar Reish Lakish, and that's what Reish Lakish said, Mai Dechsiv, what does it mean when it's written in the Pasuk? Im leleitzim hu yolitz, to the scornful he scorns, V'la'anovim yitein chen, and to the humble he gives favor. It means, Bo l'tamei poschen lo, if somebody wants to be impure, HaKadosh Baruch Hu opens up that path for him. Bo l'tar, if he wants to purify, Messiah so, then we support him. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Lokchin gas be'uta min ha'ovet kochavim. A person is allowed to buy a wine press where the grapes are trodden upon from the idolaters. Afal pishu notel biyado v'nosin l'tapuach. Even though the idolater is taking from those grapes that are being stepped on and he's putting them onto the mound. The point over here is that while it's still in the wine press, the area where it's being pressed and stepped upon, it doesn't have the status of yayin in terms of the halachas of yayin nesach. Ve'eno osa yayin nesach at sheyer. It's not considered yayin nesach until it goes into the pit, until it goes into the cistern. That's where it drains to. That's where the wine drains. Yorad labor, and when the wine does go down to the pit, ma'aseh bebor aser, what's in the pit is forbidden. That already has the status of wine in terms of yayin nesach. Va'ashar mutter, but the rest is going to be permitted. Again, if it hasn't yet drained down there, that is permitted. And the Mishnah continues at the two dots, Dorchin im ha'ovet kochavim begas. A person is allowed to tread together with the idolater in the wine press. And Rashi explains, Gas bu'uta sheboata v'dorcha over kochavim. That's talking about the wine press where they step on the grapes, and the idolater does that. Shu notel anavim mitoch yayin ba'adoshim shel gas shakor maish. What they do is they would remove the grapes there. That was the way of removing that part of the wine that wasn't good, those parts of the grapes that needed to be removed from the wine. V'nosein l'tapuach, and they would put it on the mound of grapes. Asifas gal ha'anavim shetachas hakora. There was a whole mound of grapes under the beam, kore tapuach. That was called tapuach. Because Savar Tana Didon, the point over here is that the Tana of our Mishnah holds, Lo have yayin nesach at sheyered labor. It's not considered yayin nesach until it actually goes down into the cistern. Masha bebor aser, and what is in the bor is aser. Em nagabo ha'ovet kol chavim acharech. It means if the non-Jew touched that wine afterwards, that's considered to be a problem of yayin nesach. Bor hayuosin lifnei hagas va'aklin nosan sham lakabel hayayin. The way it worked was they had this pit in front of the wine press, and there was a vessel there that received the wine. V'yesh shetachin habor besid v'hayayin mishtamre besocho. And sometimes they would use plaster around the bor, and that would preserve the wine inside of it. Ve'eno ma'abetipo. They wouldn't lose anything. V'hu bor sid. That's referred to as a bor sid. Dorchinem ha'ovet kochavim begas. You're also allowed to tread together with the idolater in the wine press. V'lo amrin. And the point here is it's permitted, and we don't say mistaker bisuri hanohu, that this is something that's forbidden bahano, and he's making money off that. He's profiting. Diafilu b'shasiya savar haytana deshari, because the Tana of our Mishnah holds you can even drink that. Calls man shelo yered labor, as long as it didn't go down to the pit, it's still not an issue of yayin nesach. It's not an issue that it's aser bahano. Umishum gorim tuma. Now there might also be a second issue, which is that you're causing tumah in Eretz Yisrael. You're not supposed to, even by chulin, even by food that's not truma or kodesh, you're not supposed to cause it to become tameh. But he says, "Umisham gorim tumah leka." There's no issue of causing tumah. Shemisha shedarach ben oved kochavim ma'at nitmo, because the moment the oved kochavim steps on them a little bit, they're going to become tameh. And so therefore it's already tameh because of that, and therefore you're not adding anything. Umisham esayeya yedei ovrei aveira, and in terms of helping someone who's doing an aveira, leka, that's not an issue either. She'oved kochavim lo nitztav al kach, because an oved kochavim is not commanded not to make the food tameh. And so therefore again, the moment the oved kochavim steps upon it, now liquid comes out. That's machshir to be makabel tumah, and of course the vessel which it's in is going to be tameh. It belongs to the idolater, so it becomes tameh right away. The Jew by helping is not making it tameh. There's no issue Messiah de over Avera, because over Kocham is not commanded in terms of not making a tameh. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Nun Hey Amid Beis.